been to a Taste of the Nation in DC. I've been to one in San Francisco and like other places when I traveled, but I'm always traveling this time of year, so I've just never been.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll send that this evening. How is everything? Are you doing okay with PBIC stuff? Do you need help with anything?
It's just, you know, it's a lot, but I think it'll be really good. It's just, there's like 4 of us planning it, so. But it's good. It'll be fine. It's just like, it'll be late nights until the summit, but I am still going to be able to go to that rural thing next week if you want to still go to that, or if you still can.
I definitely want to, because Kirsten Basler and Jillian Balo are both chiefs I'm working with, so I think that would be good to go.
Awesome.
Okay, what else is going on that I need to know about? How's the move? Are you staying in your house now?
We are, yeah, we're in the house. It's just, you know, we haven't really had the time to unpack or do anything, but we're in the house, and yeah, and it's nice. I mean, it's like an adjustment, not walking to work anymore.
Hi, sorry,
Wait, so what are you doing? Oh,
hi.
Hi, sorry about that.
No worries. How are you, Danielle?
I am good. I've had a crazy day.
Crazy good? Crazy.
It was good, and then I was on my way home, and my coffee spilled all over my purse, and my lunch and everything, and I was just like, oh my god. But it was good up until that moment.
Well, I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah. How are you guys?
I just moved my tea away from me because I feel like I could spill stuff on myself at the same time too.
That's funny.
Spilling is always a nightmare. Okay, well, maybe we can jump into a few of the agenda items before the fellows get on. Thank you for sending over the information, Danielle. I think it's just helpful to see everything in one place of sort of where we are with the fellows, since you've been really managing them as the first line of defense. And then Annalise, just for context on, you know, as we're thinking about the stipend and the funding that's going out, I think we do have to have like a pretty strict deadline for a couple of reasons. Like, one, we can't just keep lingering on sort of the grant funding, although we want to be as generous as possible and everything, but like it's coming up on the end of our fiscal year, so things start getting crazy, and we have to just know whether or not money is being allocated.
Yep.
You understand that. So
I totally get that.
I think that's where we're just kind of like, and I know this from doing this in previous times, like, you know, one, I think we all know that like if there's a will, there's a way with breakfast in the classroom or breakfast after the bell. So like the $3,000 grant is not make or break in all of this in most cases. But also just, you know, deadlines, enforce deadlines, make things happen. So that's kind of where we are in that.
Yep. No, I think that makes sense. And I appreciate how organized Danielle has been, and just how patient also you all have been, given the competing demands and the craziness that is the school year for folks. And I know that originally we had talked about 10 fellows, and then sort of things shifted, and now things have shifted even more with how many people are able to fully participate. But I still think, you know, I'm glad that we have some folks that have been able to make headway, and that will be doing a pilot at the end of the year. But I agree. I think sometimes giving people hard deadlines can help also ramp things into gear and not let them kind of, you know, sort of keep going out and without knowing what's going to happen.
Okay, good. I'm glad we're all on the same page there. I mean, I hate to be an enforcer, but it's also just, you know, we want to be mindful of Danielle's capacity and time as well, and not have her be like constantly tracking people down for information. So I think we decided that sort of next Friday, which would be like the 12th, would be the final deadline to get us materials. I think we can put that out there. If somebody's like, I won't have it Friday, but I'll have it the Wednesday after, I think we can be flexible on that. But I think we need to have like a real commitment on whether or not we're going to be getting grant information by next Friday. Does that sound fair to everybody?
Yep. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay,
sounds
good.
great. I have a slide in there about that. That's what we'll start with.
Okay, awesome. The other big question, I think, before the other folks get on the phone that we wanted to talk about was just sort of the individuals that have like dropped off or that haven't really shown, you know, that maybe haven't said they're not participating anymore, but haven't really been showing up to meetings or returning assets and things like that. So just wanted to get your opinion, Annalise, on sort of like how to manage that from the second piece of the stipend. I just didn't know if you'd run into this problem in other work that you've done and how you address that there. Just because there is, I think when we look at the financials, there's like an additional $5,500 that we're kind of holding for that. And so again, just coming up on the fiscal year, we kind of need to know where money's being allocated.
Sure. Well, I think, you know, part of that stipend was an understanding that certain deliverables would be met. So for us, at least, you know, we divide up payments usually in two as well, so that if people aren't, you know, able to meet those deliverables, you know, there's some mechanism for ensuring that we're not just giving money away that's being used for things other than what we want it to be. So if you know, you're wanting me to say that like if we don't get certain deliverables from the fellows and we're not going to be able to issue the final stipend payments, I'm fine doing that. But I know for us, we want to make sure that we're being good financial stewards of the funds and not spending it on things that aren't related to this work.
Okay, yeah, I think we're on the same page there then. I just am always mindful that we're co-managing this and really it's your membership. So I want to make sure that we are always doing things that are respectful of the fact that it's your membership. So if you
sure, no, and I appreciate you saying, yeah, no, I appreciate it. And I think we can just refer back to the guidelines. I mean, I don't think it has to be anything, you know, big. I think it can be, this is what you signed up for, and just as a reminder, we're not going to be able to issue those stipends, those remaining stipend payments, if those deliverables aren't met that were specified in the guidelines.
Okay, awesome. And
I would just,
oh yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. The people on tonight are the people who've been more regularly communicating. So like, and I did hear from like Layla and Amanda, people who just aren't able to join, but they're also the people that haven't been that great about keeping in touch. So I think it'd be good to say, but we probably should put it in writing and send an email out as well.
Okay. Yeah, and Danielle, I was going to say, if you want me to send that out, I'm happy to send that out. I just want to make sure before I send anything out that we're in agreement on it. So if you want, I could like put together some language and then share it with you guys, and then you can just tell me if you think I'm hitting the points we want to make.
Okay,
I think that sounds great.
Yeah.
Do you have the capacity to do that, or do you need us?
Yeah. Do you want
are
me to
you
drop
okay
it
on that, Annalise?
I can put something together, and then if you want to just add to it, or like I said, make sure I'm hitting the points, then I can send that out, and I can copy you both on it.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so can we just run through the agenda quickly? It's two things, but
sure.
Bree, do you mind talking about like the grant information quickly when we just start?
Just the deadline of it, or what did you want me to speak to?
Yeah, just the deadline. Just give like, you know, a brief overview about why we're setting in, just how we need like the information in as soon as possible.
Sure.
Thank you. And then I'll just do updates. But I think someone just joined.
Sorry, you cut out. Could you repeat what you just said?
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay. Cool. And then I just said we'd move into updates. But I think someone else joined.
And if you guys want to, if there's anything like we didn't get to talk to before the webinar, I am like available to get on a quick call tomorrow or Friday or something. So just let me know if there's anything like pressing or urgent.
Awesome, thank you.
Sounds good.
Okay, great.
Hi, everyone. It's Danielle. I see a couple people on. I know it's 7, so we're going to get started in just a couple minutes, but we might wait for a couple more stragglers. I see Kelly, Jolene. There's someone listed as a number. Is that Mary or Danielle or Zach?
Yes, it's Mary.
Okay, cool. Hi, Mary.
Hello.
Hi, and I know Danielle is traveling, so she might not be able to make it on. Cool. And Zach just joined. Oh, Zach just joined. Hi, Zach. Okay, so we can go ahead and get started because mostly everyone is here, and hopefully Danielle will join, or I'll just send her an email and follow up. But thanks so much for joining us, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I hope the weather is warming up wherever you are. Spring is coming. It seems like it is in DC. But thanks for joining us on this Wednesday night. So we know that everyone is in different places. Some of you are implementing, some of you are still waiting for grant funding, but it's been a while since our last check-in. I know we've done some email check-ins, but just wanted to hear where everyone's at and to get a chance to connect with one another, see how things are going, see where we can troubleshoot. So we're just gonna go over a couple things tonight. Start with some grant information for those of you who have not yet gotten it. Bree's just gonna talk a little bit about the deadline we've set and what we need from you all. And then we'll just get into updates from every one of you, each one of you to talk about where you're at, how things are going, some of your biggest successes, some challenges you might be facing. And everyone should feel encouraged to jump in. Hopefully some things that some other people are going through will resonate with you and help you out in your own process. And so we will just take it from there. Bree, do you mind talking a little bit about granting and the deadline that we need information by? Are you there, Bree? I think you're muted.
Hi there. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're unmuted.
Okay. Thanks for everybody for joining, and we're excited about the progress that so many of you are making, and looking forward to hearing, sort of peer-to-peer suggestions for troubleshooting tonight. I just wanted to touch on the granting process. I know some of you have received your grants, that, you have up to $3,000 to apply for startup equipment costs, related to, the breakfast after the bell model that you're choosing. So thank you to those of you that have submitted that information. We do have to have all grant requests in by next Friday, April 12th, by the close of business. We just are up against the end of our fiscal year, and so we have to be, there's a process that takes place behind the scenes. And so in order for you to be eligible for your grants, you'll have to apply by next Friday. That's a hard deadline on that. If you have questions or concerns about that, please just reach out to us after this webinar. And remember that when you're sending that in, Danielle has sent around the information that we require. A lot of it is in your initial application, but this is just a checkpoint to sort of update what you're looking for, based on the conversations that you've had with stakeholders and as you're developing your plan. So if you have questions on that, Danielle can, in follow-up to this meeting tonight, just send a reminder that your grant applications are due by next Friday, and then also the information that's needed in there. You can stop there for any questions that come off, but if there's like specific things related just to you, then we're happy to have a conversation after this call.
Any questions from anyone? Okay, cool. So we'll just move to updates. So I think we'll just go around and I'll call you out for whoever's on. And if you could just share like 1 to 2 minutes about what stage you're currently in, where you're at in the process, and then 1 to 2 minutes about the biggest success you've had so far, and then a little bit about the challenges you're facing, some troubleshooting you want to do. So let's see, Jolene, do you want to go first since you're the one implementing? You've gotten your funding.
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So I have gotten funding. We are still in the process of waiting for the final equipment to arrive. We did get our heating and cooling bags on Friday last week. Yesterday, our garbage cans arrived, and the kids were really excited about that. These gigantic orange garbage cans just rolled into our classrooms, and they were super excited. We are still waiting for the 4 or 5 shelf carts that will be used for the delivery process. Last update, they were scheduled to ship on Friday. So in looking at the calendar, unfortunately, we have PSSA testing coming up, which is kind of putting a little kink in our implementation plans. We're hoping that the shelving units will arrive sometime next week. They will need to be assembled, so we need to allow a little bit of time for that. And then unfortunately, the following Monday is the first day of PSSA testing. So we decided to hold off a little bit. We right now have a tentative, which is pretty solid, I don't think it should change, implementation date of April 22nd. We have PSSA testing the week after that, but we don't think it will be an issue as long as we get, the initial kinks worked out the week before. We should be okay. As far as that's our initial rollout, which is just with 3rd grade. It's 4 classrooms. We were hoping to expand to 4th and 5th grade by the end of the school year, which would be 9 additional classrooms, but we're not sure with the timeline right now if that's going to work out or not before our last day of school, which is June 5th. So biggest successes so far, almost everybody has been extremely excited about this. They're very supportive. Upper level admin has been on board, and they've been very supportive. They're hoping, based on what we've been talking about, it sounds like they'd like to do a full building rollout at some point next year. So that's pretty exciting for us. Biggest challenge, I've had a minor issue, and I'm still in the process of trying to figure out how to work it out. But I have like one custodian that's kind of given me a little bit of a run for my money. I've tried to ease her mind and help her see that the only thing I'm really asking is that at some point in the morning, somebody swings by and picks up the bags out of our garbage cans. They don't have to take the cans anywhere. They don't have to worry about transporting anything. We have that all figured out. It's just a matter of picking up the 4 bags, and she's not real happy about that. So did I miss anything?
Is she worried about the extra work or just like the trash level?
I think she's worried about the extra work, but there's 3 custodians on at that time. I didn't say it had to be her. It could be any one of them. And I didn't even say it had to happen at a specific time. I just said anytime after 9 o'clock, we're going to put the cans in the hallway. When you're walking by, just grab the bag. And when it's empty, we'll bring it back in the classroom. So I don't know. I've tried to talk to her, and she says everything's okay, but I can tell by the way she's acting that everything's not okay. So
I can't remember. This is Annalise, by the way. Hi. I can't remember. In your school district, is there any other schools that do breakfast in the classroom, or would you guys be the first to be doing something like this?
We are the first.
You are the first? Okay, because I was going to say sometimes, and I don't know if you've already done something like this, but trying to show her a video or getting her to see how it looks in action. I'm happy to send you, and I'm sure Bree and Danielle also have some videos if you think that would be helpful. But I think sometimes with this program, it's like really seeing is believing, and until a person gets to see it and understand how it really is going to look, then I think there is just always a little bit of that trepidation because of change, and change is always hard. But
right. I mean,
it sounds like you've been having those conversations, so.
I have. And initially there were a lot of, well, what happens when there's a spill in the classroom, and who's going to clean the desks, and who's going to this, and who's going to that? And I answered all of those questions. And I said, if there's a spill, the teachers will handle it. The kids will, part of their morning routine, once they clean up and throw their garbage away, will be to take a wipe and clean off their desk. Like we are not expecting anything of them except for picking up the garbage bag. And I think a lot of it is the trepidation and the fear of the unknown, and they're afraid that there's going to be all these problems. And I really think we just need to get started and get it going until they see that this is really not going to be a big impact for them at all.
Yep. Yeah, and I think the fact that you're starting small and doing the pilot, I mean, I think it's not like you're saying we need to roll out in every school tomorrow. You know, you're saying let's see how this works and expand it. So I think sometimes it is just ripping off the Band-Aid and trying it and then seeing how it is.
Right.
Yeah, and I think another tip that we sort of said to other people, you know, whoever the stakeholder is, if they're feeling a little nervous, is just like, you know, we're doing this as a pilot because we're trying to see what happens over these next couple of weeks, and we're going to try to ride it out. And then, you know, if we need to make tweaks after that time period, we're open to them and just involving them in the conversation along the way. And the other thing is, I don't know if there's like a way to connect them with another custodian that's done this, maybe just like by the phone, or I think that there's been through the unions in the state some positivity around this work. So those are just things that we can help with too, if necessary. And maybe there's other people on the line that are facing the same challenge that have some tips.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jolene. Did you have any other questions or things you wanted to share?
I just think my only question would be that, you know, what would happen if we, with the time frame that we're under, if we can't do the expansion by the end of the school year, would it still be okay to do it in the fall?
Absolutely. I think we definitely understand we're up against a time crunch now. So I think you've requested funding for sort of that. And then there's also, you know, other funding streams. So I think you do what you can do to the end of this year and then take the summer to recalibrate and figure out what's next for next year. So I think that's totally fine.
Okay, sounds good.
I also met your regional service nutrition director this weekend, Jolene, and she had all the nice things to say about you. So that was really exciting.
Oh, that's good. Was it Vicky?
Yeah, she was at the National School Boards Association meeting, and she was on the trade floor cooking and talking about breakfast, and was
Awesome.
lovely. So
Yeah, she's been great to work with. So that's good to know.
Yeah, made great food. Okay, thanks, Jolene. Well, looking forward to hearing how implementation goes. Let us know if we can support you in any way beforehand, but sounds like you got a good handle of things and excited. So, okay, does anyone want to go next? Zach, you want to go next? Because I know how would talks on with your food service director. Yeah. Great, Zach, you're unmuted. Can you hear me?
This is Zach. Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, cool. Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey, can you actually come back to me in a couple minutes? Can I go next? I'm driving home. I'll be home in like 5 minutes.
Of course, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sounds good. We will circle back. Okay, Mary, do you want to go next with any updates?
Okay. I think Danielle is also on the phone now. My Danielle, are you on there too?
Yeah.
Do you want to start and I can finish up? Oh, I guess no response. Can you hear?
I think she's on, but she might not. Let me unmute her. Danielle, can you?
Oh, yeah, can you hear me?
Cool, yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I am on. Okay, so we have, so far we have purchased our point of sale system. We actually have done the back end training on it. So all of us on the administrative staff are ready to go. All our students are in, their pictures are in, which is super exciting. And then on the 10th, our food service staff are going to be trained on that as well. And that system will allow our parents to pre-order online, which will help us with the count, which was one of the things that we were a little concerned about is, you know, I know initially we had talked about making breakfast for everyone so that we can get it up and running more quickly and hopefully, you know, have a higher participation level. But this will also allow our families to pre-order. So our, I think I said already, the food staff will be trained on it on the 10th, and then all of that will be fully rolled out after our spring break, which is the week after the 23rd. So I think we come back on like the 30th. We did a trial run with our lunch program. We did like a chef day, and we blasted emails to the families, and we sent flyers home to just kind of see what their response would be. And we had 83 kids out of 101 participate that day. So we're hoping to do the same kind of push for our breakfast program with the email blast and the flyers home, and our food service people are on board. Mary and I will be presenting to our staff at the staff meeting. We've been doing one-on-one conversations to try to get everybody on board, so then we present to the whole staff. It's a little bit more receptive because they all kind of know about it already. So that's what we're working towards right now. And then we plan to go live with kindergarten, first, second, and third grade start the week after spring break.
Okay, great. And you guys will be getting your check, your grant lending via check, probably by the end of this week, maybe next week. But just know that it's on the way.
Perfect. Yeah, we ordered everything through purchase order, so we were able to order mostly everything that we need, and we have most of it already came in.
Okay, great. Yeah, so just look out for that actual piece of it. Mary, were you saying anything?
Oh, I was just going to say I was surprised because we had kind of touched base, I thought, with almost everyone, and it would look like clear sailing. And then all of a sudden, like 2 weeks ago, some of the teachers were, it seemed like the custodian for the other school. All of a sudden, it was like the deer in the headlights, and like, what do you mean? What do you mean? So Danielle and I have been trying to just talk to the people individually to explain it's not really a big thing, and it'll be easy enough to roll out and to implement. That's why we decided that, yeah, we definitely need to speak to them both individually, but then together at a faculty meeting to relieve any of their fears. It's the fear of the unknown more than anything else. And I think once it rolls out, like you're talking about, just ripping off the Band-Aid, I think once we get going, we'll be fine. But it's just the waiting that I think is getting some of them are a little concerned now.
It sounds like, this is Annalise, it sounds like Mary and Danielle, you all have done an amazing job getting things to the point where they are. And I will just add that I think sometimes it's also having and it sounds like you have this, but having a mechanism in place where people know who they can express their concerns or their feelings about how the program's going to. So just knowing, okay, it's one of you, that there's this open line of communication, that you will be, making sure if there are any issues that arise, they are addressed. I think sometimes that can help quell some of the agita around the change, but some of it is just totally normal. And I think it's great that you all are being proactive and having these conversations and not letting them fester. And, hopefully they won't be a roadblock. They're just a little bit of nerves and jitters before something new is being introduced.
Agreed. I don't think it's any big thing. I think it's just fear of the unknown.
Yeah, it sounds like you all have been really, really smart in just doing the individual outreach, so there's no surprises when you have the full group meeting. And just to echo what Annalise said, I also, I think that we've seen success from some other folks that have led initiatives like this. And what they've done is sort of sent a daily email just saying, just wanted to check in, see how things went, how did you feel about the food? And then what they would do in those emails is put in, like, it was so exciting because today we served 81 out of 100 students. What great progress we're making. If there's any concerns, like, please let us know so we can address them. And then that way you're like sharing the good news and then also giving the outlet for feedback.
Smart.
Yeah, that's a really great idea. I think too, Mary and I have, the teachers go to her first. Obviously, she's the teacher. I'm an administrator, so they'll tell Mary what their concerns are, and then we'll kind of meet so then we're on the same page and make sure that we're communicating the same information. And when we have conversations with them individually, we have been asking, for them to think it through and what it would look like in their classroom and to bring their concerns so then we can try to address all of them before we go live. I know there's going to be some growing pains because it's change and, not everybody's, very receptive to change, but I think too, once they see, you know, their kids aren't hungry and they're learning, and I think it'll all be very positive in the end.
Yeah. Okay, great. Sounds any other questions or anything to share? Nope. Okay, cool. Well, thank you. Sounds like you guys are making great progress, and can't wait to hear how actual implementation goes after spring break. And thanks for joining, Danielle, while I know you're on the road. Okay, Zach, are you good now? Are you home?
Yes, I'm home now. Can you hear me all right?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay,
Can you
fantastic.
share a little bit how did food service meeting with your food service director go?
I got my big meeting tomorrow.
Oh, okay. So do you mind just sharing a little bit about where you're at, how, like, any conversations you've had in the past month?
Yeah, so we did like a kind of a demonstration project where we've done twice already on Fridays. We've done breakfasts with food that we've had available through Gleaner's Food Bank, a partnership that we had with them, and on Fridays. And honestly, the kids love it. One day we had pancakes and eggs and milk, and another day we had cereal and fruit and yogurt, and they loved it. We had a high participation rate. The second day, there was definitely better attendance in terms of getting the kids there right off the bat in the morning because they wanted to be there for the food. So I think I got some good data to bring into my meeting tomorrow to show them that the kids are interested in food. Now, I guess the question is going to be, how many of them are going to be interested in purchasing food? Because I think I got maybe a quarter of them qualify for free, but then the other 3/4 don't. So that remains to be seen. And our food service director is definitely interested in a conversation about what equipment we might be able to get with grant funding. So I know that we're at a time crunch with that, and that's going to be top priority to try to get that down within the first day or two of next week. If there's going to be equipment that we can get to help enable food process through the food service in the district.
Great, yeah, and I know you've had some ongoing talks with your food service, but yeah, just anything, like any sort of plan that you can send in, because we just want to make sure we get that funding out the door. And nothing needs to, be set in stone, things can change, but we just want to make sure we definitely get that funding to you.
Okay.
And great job, Zach. This is Annalise. I just want to say, I know you're starting this from scratch, and it's hard, and it's even more challenging when there's nothing there in place sometimes. So just awesome job pushing through, and I know that you've been able to make a lot of progress, even though it doesn't, you haven't necessarily got a final answer from them. It sounds like you've made a lot of progress.
Thank you. Yeah, it is. I like building things from scratch. We actually built the school from scratch, so this is nothing new. Trying to build a breakfast program from scratch either.
Cool. Well, anything else you wanted to share, or any questions?
No, I should have hopefully a better idea of everything after my meeting tomorrow. I'm really excited to have this conversation tomorrow.
Yeah, that's great that you're sitting down with them, and just let us know how it goes, and we'll look out for your plan.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks for having on. And then I think the last person we have is Kelly. And Kelly, I know you're not implementing, but if you had any questions, or you just want to share a little bit about where you're at, some of the conversations that you've had, and maybe what you're looking at for the future.
Absolutely. I'm so happy that you've allowed me to be a listener and learner in this process. I'm getting a lot out of it. My principal and my district were pretty excited about it in the beginning. my principal's still very excited and wants to implement a breakfast program. The problem that we've always had is that we've had no breakfast program at all. So we're struggling with that aspect, and my assistant superintendent and a few other key people kind of backed away from it after I already started coming into it, thinking that it might be something that we can do for next year. So all the information that I'm gathering now is going to really help us. And the good news is I have total buy-in from my principal and from the district about the fact that it should be a breakfast after the bell program. So the good news is that when we are ready to do this, it's going to be in a model that's best for kids. So all of this and listening in is going to help a lot. So I was disappointed that we weren't going to get to pilot, but I'm happy that at least it looks like there's going to be a lot of change in our district and we are going to move in this direction.
That's great to hear, and we're happy to have you, and thank you for hopping on tonight. We'll keep in touch, and please let us know if there's anything we can support you with, even if you're not implementing, or as we move forward into the fall, if there's any way we can continue to support you or look at funding options.
That's wonderful. I really appreciate it. I'm still, there's a couple things in the works. At the very least, it made our school a lot more aware. They formed a breakfast pantry in the office, at least. So at least we're reaching some kids that have needs for breakfast. It's not a breakfast program, and it's not breakfast after the bell, but the kids who need it do grab out of the pantry and then bring it to their classroom. So it's a small shadow of what we want, but at least we're becoming more aware as a school. And my principal's talking that we might be able to do some kind of informal pilot with our PTA at the end of the year. So, we won't be eligible for the grant or anything like that, but we might be able to implement some of these ideas even at the very end of the year. So I'm so happy that you want to still stay in touch with me and that I can ask questions and use your expertise and guidance, because I'm really appreciative of it. And it will make change. It's just slower than I hoped.
Well, we're so appreciative of you. Seriously, thank you for, sticking with us, and we're glad that you're here even as a listening learning partner. And that's so exciting that, even small changes are happening in your school. And, starting from scratch, as Annalise said, is always hard, but you're making the small headway that you need to. And that's great to hear that a program might be able to implement it next year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, I think that's everyone. Any last minute questions or anything you wanted to share out? Looks like we're going to end a little early. For your Annalise, if you want to share anything.
This is Annalise. I'll just say again, thank you all for your commitment and work over the course of these past couple of months. It's been really inspiring to see all of the different conversations and progress that you've made. And we know this work isn't easy, and we also know that this is not in your job description. So the fact that each of you have taken this upon yourself to address this need, because you understand that kids can't learn if they're hungry, is just really inspiring and wonderful. And we appreciate and value you and the time that you've put into this work.
I agree with everything that the other lady said, and just echoing that, we're here to support you and also to celebrate you. So when you have victories, or as you're coming up with best practices that you're establishing, or you're troubleshooting things, feel free to share back with this group, because I'm sure it will be helpful not only for the other fellows in this group, but as we're working with educators across the country as well.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks so much, everyone. I will send out a follow-up email tomorrow with a recording of this, as well as anything, any additional information. But as Bree and Annalise just said, feel free to reach out at any time, and we're always here to support. And we're just so appreciative of you all. So thank you so much for taking time out of your Wednesday night. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and thanks again. We'll be in touch soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.